President Biden will nominate Lina Khan to serve as a member of the Federal Trade Organization, FTC, Politico reported earlier today. The pick marks the latest signal that Biden is gearing up to square off against big tech. Bloomberg White House correspondent Justin Sink joins me now from Washington with more on this. Hey, Justin, this was a sort of oh wow moment for me when I saw the name Lina Khan this morning. Tell us a little bit about why Lina Khan is such a big deal and why tech companies might be a little nervous about this news.
Yes, I mean, she's somebody who definitely has a reputation here in Washington as somebody who is extremely skeptical of big tech. She wrote a long sort of treatise on how Amazon was threatening sort of the anti-competitive, antitrust questions that would normally face monopolies. She's got kind of a long career as a legal fellow and as a congressional staffer, as really challenging big tech companies. And so her appointment is sort of a clear signal, or her reported appointment is a pretty clear signal from the Biden administration that some of the skepticism that the president voiced in the campaign trail towards tech companies is likely to play out in his administration. The FTC plays a really kind of key role in investigating business practices, competition, and plays a crucial role as mergers come together. And so, if she's confirmed by the Senate, that could really signal a new skepticism towards especially consolidation within big tech.
Big tech, the pejorative use of the term big tech, it really seems something that actually goes across party lines. One of the rare things in Washington that does this, Kevin. There's sort of equal skepticism right now among Democrats and Republicans when it comes to the outsized power that Silicon Valley's firm have in the U.S. and I think around the world as well. When it comes to confirmation, is there any chance that she doesn't get confirmed, or do you sort of see this? What do you hear from sources about how Republicans are thinking about her as a nomination?
Yeah, I think that, when the Senate is divided 50-50, there can obviously always be a stumbling block. But to your point, I think there is sort of bipartisan skepticism of tech companies. President Trump, of course, talked pretty extensively about his frustrations with tech when he felt like there was censorship of conservatives. Obviously, he was ultimately removed from Twitter, removed for some time from Facebook. And so I think that's only fueled skepticism among conservatives who feel like tech is biased against them. But Democrats, too, have raised concerns and questions about the way tech companies have earned protections in legislation that went in and regulations that went in 20 years ago. And so there, I think, is sort of an agreement on both sides that the Biden administration wants to look more carefully at what rules of the road exist for tech companies and whether they can strengthen those in some ways to hold them more sort of culpable for what goes on their platforms.
How is this different than the Obama administration's treatment of big tech? I mean, the Obama administration between 2008 and 2016, especially in the campaign for '08, was very close with Silicon Valley. And the chief technology officer position in the United States was a former Google executive. There were close ties with many executives from tech companies. How is what the Biden administration is approaching here? How is that different than what the Obama administration did?
Yeah, I think you're right. There was a real revolving door between Silicon Valley and Washington during the Obama years, and lots of former Obama officials now have purchased in Silicon Valley, and that kind of illustrates the closeness. One thing you would hear from Obama officials was coming out of the recession in 2008, they saw Silicon Valley as a growth opportunity, an area of the economy that was a sort of bright spot among a lot of the issues, especially in the financial industry, that stemmed from the Great Recession. But obviously the Biden team, especially with the sort of separation that's happened, doesn't feel that same need to sort of nurture Silicon Valley, doesn't feel as sort of connected to them as the Obama team, which saw the internet really help their fundraising efforts, really help his political ambitions when he was going up against Hillary Clinton in the '08 primary. Those things don't really exist with the Biden White House. And so I think that obviously between the Lina Khan pick, earlier this week we learned that Tim Wu, who was also a skeptic, is going to join the National Economic Council. those sort of illustrate the approach that the Biden administration is taking.
Yeah, very different than the Trump administration and very different than the Obama administration as well. Bloomberg's Justin Sink in Washington. Hey, Justin, thanks so much for your time. Great to have you on the show.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.